Had no need to fight tonight.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be comparing the M13 with the ASVAL. Now the M13 was just released and a lot of people have already been making comparisons with the ASVAL. Both are ARs, pretty fast firing, and they both have a really interesting bullet speed sort of things. So yeah, today we're going to be doing an in-depth comparison. We're going to be looking at all these statistics. I'm also going to be giving you guys my personal opinions and also my favorite gunsmiths. But just before we get into the video, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Also make sure to go ahead and join my Discord server. I'll be linking that in the description down below. I also want to give a final shout out to my boy Sorbet. He basically hooked me up with a bunch of the statistics, and make sure to go ahead and join his Discord server. I'll be linking that in the description down below as well. And yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop into the video. Alright, so both of these guns are obviously assault rifles, but if we take a look at the rate of fire, on the ASVAL we have a rate of fire of 800 RPM, while on the M13 we have around 880. I think some stats testers have said it's actually above this, around like 883 to 86 even. So yeah, obviously the M13 has a faster fire rate. If we take a look at the penetration level, the penetration level on the ASVAL is deemed as low, while it's actually medium on the M13. If we look at some of the mobility statistics, obviously depending on the attachments that you put on the gun, these are going to vary, but these are just the base statistics that I have right now. So if we take a look at the ADS speed of the ASVAL, we have 267 milliseconds, which is just slightly faster than the M13, which is 317 milliseconds. The sprint to fire time of the ASVAL is 135 milliseconds. Comparatively on the M13, it is 183, so obviously the ASVAL is a little bit better in that department. If we take a look at the sprinting speed, 6.34 meters per second for the ASVAL, while we have 6.04 meters for the M13. Walking speed, 4.7 meters per second on the ASVAL, and for the M13, we have 4.47, which is slightly slower, but I don't think it's going to make too much difference. And finally, for strafe speed, it seems as if the ASVAL is going to take this spot as well. Alright, so taking a look at the base magazines, the ASVAL starts off with a 25 round, while the M13 starts off with a 30. Obviously, on the M13, you can actually get a much larger magazine size, getting you, I think, 60 or something like that, which is pretty crazy. So for the base magazines, taking a look at the ASVAL, the cancel reload time, so if you just cancel the animation, it's going to give you 1.5 seconds of reload. However, on the M13, you're going to be having 1.9 seconds for the cancel on a half reload, and for an empty reload, you can have 1.6 seconds. The drop time of the ASVAL is 400 milliseconds, but the drop time of the M13 is 383, and the raise time is also a little bit slower on the ASVAL with 666.6 and 600 milliseconds on the M13. Alright, so taking a look at the juiciest parts of these statistics, which are the damage values and also the time to kill. So if we take a look at the ASVAL, you get 28 damage up to 7 meters, and then you have 25 damage up to 20 meters, 22 damage all the way up to 30 meters, and 30 meters plus, you're going to be getting 19 damage. On the M13, from 0 to 25 meters, you have 24 damage, 25 to 39 is 18 damage, and 39 plus is going to be 16 damage. This means that on the ASVAL up to 20 meters, you're going to have a 225 millisecond time to kill, which is quite faster than the M13 time to kill up to 25 meters, which is going to be 273 milliseconds. So in theory, when you put an ASVAL against an M13 at close range, and even when you start to get to those medium ranges, the ASVAL is always going to win those gunfights. From 20 to 30 meters, the ASVAL has a 300 millisecond time to kill. Comparatively, from 25 to 39 meters, the M13 is going to have a 341 millisecond time to kill. And for the ASVAL from 30 meters plus, you're going to be having a 375 millisecond times kill, while in the M13 from 39 meters plus, you're going to be getting a much slower times kill, I think something around 409 milliseconds. Another thing about both of these guns is that they actually have they have these bullet speed things, which means that at certain ranges, the bullets will actually take longer to travel through the air. So if we take a look at the ASVAL from 0 to 10 meters, there is no, change in the bullet speed. So it's basically the same time to kill as normal. And that's the same thing with the M13. So from 0 to 10 meters, it has a 0 millisecond bullet travel time. From 10 to 15 meters, the ASVAL has a 2-frame bullet travel time, which is around 33 to 34 milliseconds. At 15 meters for the M13, you're going to be getting 17 milliseconds instead. I'll leave the rest of the values for you guys up on screen. It's a little bit tedious to all read through, but the general gist is that the M13 is just a little bit better in terms of bullet speed. But yeah, they do kind of vary at distances, so yeah, you guys can just have a read. And I mean, honestly, you're going to be using this gun mostly at close range, and it seems as if the M13 is just a bit better at close range, so yeah. Alright, so we've had a pretty deep dive into the statistics there, about like 5 minutes or something like that, so that's pretty deep. But yeah, hopefully you guys can see that I think the ASVAL, it's statistically just better in most areas. If we're taking a look, since you're going to be using these guns mostly at close range, you're going to be getting the best time to kills you can at close range, along with the best movement, the best ADS speed and that type of stuff. And the ASVAL just seems to have more of that. However, I'd say that the biggest advantage of the M13 is that it has like a massive magazine that you can put on. It has a 60 round magazine, which is pretty crazy considering the ASVAL only goes at the 35, and it just makes it I think a little bit more versatile. You can use the M13 at more ranges just due to that magazine size. There's also a magazine on the ASVAL that lets you convert it to a semi-automatic rifle. I'm not really going to be taking a look at the stats of that, but it is an option, and it is another way to make the ASVAL more versatile. Okay, so taking a look at like the feelings of both of the guns. Now, I think that the ASVAL just has a little bit more recoil than the M13. It just feels a little bit less stable, especially when you're using the quick response barrel. I think that is the best barrel to go for. So yeah, it just feels a little bit less stable. The M13 just feels more controlled. And that's, if you like that sort of feeling of control, then I think the M13 would be pretty nice for you. And plus with that 60 round magazine, bro, it's pretty controllable. But yeah, if we take a look at the iron sights of both of the weapons, I think that the ASVAL has a significantly better iron sight. I think the M13 iron sight is just not very good, and it's something that if you can't really use well, you might have to put a red dot on. So yeah, I think the ASVAL iron sight is honestly one of the best iron sights in the game. It's so clean, so minimalistic, and you can see your enemies so well with it. So that has to go to the ASVAL there. Looking at an overall of the two weapons, taking a look at their statistics, looking at their feel, the important attributes of both of these weapons, I think it's pretty apparent that the ASVAL is just better overall. I think the M13 is sort of a budget version of the ASVAL. Obviously, I think it can be more viable in certain situations, especially with that pretty large magazine. But I think that, when you're going one-on-one with an ASVAL, I think the ASVAL is just going to win, bro. I think, combined with that iron sight, and the iron sights are really important weapons. They really contribute to how well you perform with that weapon. Like, I know some weapons, they have a terrible iron sight, and I just can't play with them. Even if they're statistically good, the iron sight just puts you off so much. And it's sort of like a psychological thing. So yeah, I think the ASVAL statistically and also in terms of feeling is just better. I think it's just better. Also, one more thing to note is that when you're playing on different servers, like for example, I was doing India servers the other day, the ASVAL just seems so much better to use in comparison to the M13. I don't know, the M13 just feels like an absolute peak shooter when you're playing on different servers. So if you like to do scrims on different servers or play ranked on different servers, I'd probably recommend using the ASVAL. I think it just feels so much better. I can't really statistically say anything about that, but in terms of feeling, I just feel like on different servers the ASVAL just feels so much better. But yeah, that's basically it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to go ahead and leave a like. Also subscribe. That really helped the channel out. And I just want to give a shout out to Sorbet once again, hooking me up with these statistics and everything. And yeah, I'll leave a comment which gun you personally prefer to use. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.